Welcome to AG's Ace, continuing with the series on international crime. Today we focus on the case of the two missing Indians now presumed dead. Who were they? Zulfikar Ahmed Khan, a prominent media executive who has a lot of friends in the media. He and his friend Zaid Ahmed Kidwai went missing in Kenya. And after that, there has been no trace so far. Earlier, a lot of attempt was made as their friends reached out not only to the Prime Minister's office but to the Indian High Commission. They tried to pull as many strings as possible to find out what had happened to them, if there is any proof of life or not, but they just vanished. So this is their story, and I begin with the latest facts that I have before me. So the first thing is an affidavit has been filed in a Nairobi court in Kahawa by investigating officer Michael Kirui. Now, the affidavit does not cite the motive behind the murders but shed light on the alleged killer squad that was ready to pull the trigger, and they worked closely with other rogue elements with the DCI. So in short, while the word alleged can still be used for the murders, but it should be a case of almost like presumed dead. Now, President Ruto has claimed that the disbanded unit, he has disbanded that unit. It was an elite squad formed by former Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss George Kinoti, and this was involved in the extrajudicial killings. So basically what Ruto is saying is that officers of this squad tried to eliminate, maim, kidnap, abduct many of Kenyans who were supporters of Ruto or who worked in any which way to support Ruto during the election campaign. Interesting fact is that the investigating officer, William Kibet, he said in a sworn affidavit that 5 people have been implicated in the killings of the 2 Indians and their taxi driver who vanished that night. Kibet claimed that Mbaya was in the company of the second accused, Kipsoi, who was specifically placed at the Ole Sereni Hotel where the 2 men had gone for a late night drink, and the instruction was that keep a very close eye on the Indians. Now, there were 3 others, Matunda, Murithi and Gikonyo. They were said to be directly and indirectly who they participated in the murders. A very important link in this entire story is a person called Dennis Itumbi. Now, Dennis Itumbi was very close and is very close to President Ruto. He was in fact in charge of the entire digital campaign to promote Ruto during the election campaign. And Itumbi, he put a post out on Facebook saying that these 2 men, which is Kidwai and Zulfikar, they worked pretty closely with him and their digital unit to help them in that campaign. So they gave them designs, they gave them ideas, but they apparently did this for free, claims Itumbi. And they were also part of a Telegram group in which they gave some ideas, they helped them out in various ways, and they were very close to Ruto and this entire unit. That may have been one of the main triggers to be targeted, and which could be also responsible for their disappearance. I quote Itumbi saying that sometimes when our team was overwhelmed and we needed graphics, I sent material to their way and they paused whatever they were doing and did me the favor. He says at one point he recalled having over 1,000 creative pieces that were more than what they needed. Now comes the trigger point, according to Itumbi. Having become acquaintances and friends, their enemies became common, so were their indulgences, he said. According to Itumbi again, the 2 visited Mombasa, Homa Bay, Masai Mara, Nyama Choma joints, and also to certain dance joints. Now, this comes after the backdrop of the Special Services Unit, which kept a close eye on them, and it all ended up at the Ole Sereni Hotel on the night of July 24th, and the trio went missing on July 25th after they were abducted outside the hotel. Itumbi described SSU. He said that this is a unit to literally kidnap, assault, maim and kill innocent people. So this was pretty much common knowledge. In fact, there was another quote about these 2 gentlemen who disappeared, saying that it was just a matter of when and not if before they were being targeted. So the point that comes to mind is that if that was such a common knowledge, why weren't these 2 men warned in advance so that they could have possibly taken better care of security and their own lives? President Ruto, in reaction after the disappearance and coming under a lot of pressure after he won the election campaign, he basically disbanded the SSU unit after a probe, and a total of 21 detectives who served under the unit were summoned to the Internal Affairs unit in Nairobi for questioning. But still, it would be safe to say that there is still no physical evidence or forensic evidence of any kind to basically prove that these two men were killed. But as per available indications, they have been. A quick reference to Amreen Kidwai's wife, who was also in Nairobi at that point in time when they disappeared. So she said that around 10:45 p.m. her husband and his friend basically they went out for a drink to this hotel, and around 3 a.m. she checked with them, but there was absolutely no response. Next day she goes to the hotel, gets the CCTV footage, and she finds that these two men left the hotel at 1 a.m. There is also footage to establish that they got into a Toyota sedan outside the hotel with the driver, and then zilch, nothing after that. The couple of pointers which are there is basically they now sound pretty sad in retrospect, that initially the friends of Zulfikar, they moved from the media, reached out to the Prime Minister's office, they reached out to the Indian High Commission. Like I said earlier, they pressured Ruto quite a bit to come out with some evidence, and so far nothing of the sort happened. The friends still want proof of death to find closure. Is there any way that can be done? But as per the latest information coming in from Kenya is that most probably they were abducted, they were herded into a container, then they were later killed, and their bodies were dumped in a place called Aberdare National Park. But like I said, they are presumed dead. There is still no evidence. It is such a sad and tragic story. Thanks for watching AG's Ace.